former gifted children, what are you doing now? First day of medical school, a faculty psychiatrist addressed the entering class in the lecture hall, all 106 of us. It was over 15 years ago now, but along the lines of, look around, she told us. Really look at each other. You are all so bright. You have always been the top 5% or so of all of your classes. Yes, you've worked, but never had to work as hard as the other students. Now, here you are. Of you here in this hall, half will be in the bottom half. There's no way around it. It's basic math. This will be a terrible, terrible shock. Every year, many students take it really hard. Be gentle with yourselves. You're all still very bright. You deserve to be here. You've just never been challenged this way before, and you are going to have to work very, very hard. We will help you with structure. We want you all to succeed, but it will be hard. It was a very sweet thing to say. I regret that label. Not only did it make me an arrogant know-it-all when I was younger, it was a shock to learn as an adult I'm above average, at best. Now it's hard to try new skills, things and really work at something, because of a deep fear of failure and lack of discipline. You have the ability to be aware of that, at least. Labels from childhood are dangerous, as you wrote above. You may have to reassess your world and be brave. Allow yourself to try new things with failure as an okay possibility. I'm rooting for you. After getting Bachelors of Science in Physics and Math, broke my parents' hearts by telling them I didn't want a career in academia. Instead, I wanted to be on the radio. Now, I'm a mediocre midday guy on a small market station, and known to all as the guy who gave up rocket science for this. Chasing your dreams isn't mediocre, it's friggin' awesome. I would say you're the guy who went after what he wanted instead of letting others decide for him. Went from high expectations to top of my undergrad class to medical school. Now, I am a med school dropout about to quit my job because I am a complete mental mess. It seems like no matter what I do I've let everyone down because I left med school. I hate disappointing people. I had really good grades, high SAT score, Ivy League education, not rich, crap childhood. School just wasn't challenging for me. I'm in my 30s now and I make, rent and operate arcade games. I spent way too long figuring out that just because I'm good at something doesn't mean I should do it. I'd easily get sucked into dead-end jobs because I would pretty quickly become critical to the functioning of that business. I'd get taken advantage of because I'm just not programmed to half-butt something. I learned a long time ago to not work for other people, so I've been mostly self-employed for the last 10 years or so. Now I spend my days at my shop making and restoring games, and going to my locations to pick up quarters and fix machines. I love it. Graduated from good colleges and eventually got a PhD, but as I assimilate myself into society, I realize that intellectual gift is just a fraction of what will make you successful. Luck, personal network, and even family all play a huge role. However, that success is very subjective, as I struggled with trying to live up to the expectations that everyone else had. Nowadays for me success is being a good father, friendly co-worker, make sure I work diligently, and be kind and helpful to others. Most importantly, be happy. Well said and, I believe, most astute. I'm a doctor now equals. The program in my school really pushed law to the gifted kids, and lots of them became lawyers, but I never liked it. I found myself a great hospital and carved out a niche for myself in medical simulation and education, alongside my clinical job, and I love it equals. Decent engineering job, didn't reach my potential, but my colleagues like me. All in all, 6/10. I never worked hard enough and coasted. I still don't work hard, I'm just decently good at it. Don't underestimate the importance of work. You are literally me. I mean, getting an engineering degree was tough, but I worked way harder in college trying to do the least possible and still graduate. After ditching high school and doing low-end jobs for 10 years, I've now sorted out my basic education and entered university. Congratulations, I wish you success. In my 30s, doing so, mediocre career, and satisfying relationships. Most of my gifted friends about the same. A handful became very successful. Some are permanent students with collections of letters, but several more are messed up or dead. Not exactly gifted, but I was one of those kids who was a sponge when it came to receiving information during my first 6 years of school. I think the teachers thought I was smarter than I actually was, but the truth was I could simply remember what I had been told or had read but wasn't exactly absorbing the data properly. Example, I could have told you that the 3 astronauts on the Apollo 11 mission were Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins. I knew this because I saw it on a poster we had in my classroom every day, but if you were to probe a little deeper I couldn't have told you how they looked, where they took off from or literally any other details about the Apollo 11 mission because the poster didn't have this information to give. But this didn't stop them pushing me a little harder than they should have. I was always sent on trips for the gifted kids, was always picked first to answer questions and put aside for certain lessons because I would have known it already. I often did not. By the way, soon as I hit secondary school I cut that crap right out. I just half-assed my way through those 5 miserable years and really started enjoying smoking weed and getting drunk. Still managed to get into college and then university, got a degree, never used it and kept on Redefining instead. I was working in kitchens throughout my education to support myself, until I saved enough to travel the world. In the last 4 years I have been to Thailand, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Malawi, Ireland, Scotland, Belgium, Singapore and Vietnam and have only visited home twice. So, I guess I'm doing okay. My memory is completely fried but I still kick butt at pub quizzes because I seem to retain interesting but utterly useless information that gives the impression of intellect, but really isn't the case. Sounds a lot like me, minus the traveling and chefing. I can retain pretty much anything. In school struggling because everyone just assumed that because I was smart in elementary school that there was no need to teach me how to study or healthy practice habits. Also the constant anxiety of people being disappointed in you since they had such high expectations that you can't meet in mind. People constantly assuming I'm smart and asking for help and either they get mad if I say no, or get mad if I help them and get it wrong. Just because I made the A honor roll in elementary doesn't mean I'm not human. Learning how to study was the hardest part of college. Finishing up my bachelor's degree and stressing about how being a teacher doesn't feel like living up to my potential. Be happy with what you are doing, teaching or otherwise. The potential to shape the future of tomorrow in a direct and impactful way is a tremendous thing to undertake. Best of luck. Disappointing my former teachers and professors by majoring in visual arts rather than mathematics. Math didn't make me happy the same way that painting did. I can still bring those skills into my art, so it all works out for me though. I'm lying in bed, wondering how the heck I can ever get a job that'll enable me to follow my dream. My dream? To run away and make a homestead where I keep chickens and do my hobbies and no one ever has the expectation that I'll do something great ever again. That's my dream too. I want to have goats and chickens and a big garden. I want to make cheeses and breads, just live off the land. I have 45 credit hours from college about 20 years ago. I made the dean's list for my grades back then. I dropped out due to pregnancy. I have no idea what career I would choose if I ever finished. I'm a part-time worker at a school. I might finish my associate's degree to substitute teach. That's really sad. What ifs? Hope you get your degree and improve your dream. You are obviously smart to make it into the dean's list. Chasing after the attention I didn't get in school because I was too nerdy and more interested in academics than kissing. I'm stressed, depressed, and feel like I peaked in middle school. I'm a gifted adult who has trouble fitting in, severe confidence issues, a weak social circle, and a lot of personal issues to deal with. It's rough out there. Working as a temp in a call center hoping I don't fail to pay rent when I start college this spring. Turns out my gift was autism. I was praised for intelligence my whole life. Gifted, AP, honors all through high school. Between taking community college courses over the summer while still in high school and my high AP scores, I entered college as a sophomore. The second things got hard, I dropped out. I never had to work at anything academic in my life. I drifted from admin job to job waiting for people to see my brilliance as they had when I was a golden child in high school and drop better jobs in my lap. Took me until my 30s to realize that isn't going to happen. Trained as a yoga teacher because I hated being treated like the lowest on the totem pole in the office. Found out you can't make much of a living as a yoga teacher. Got another admin job, but this time I'm also working as a yoga teacher, and I've gone back to school to get my qualifications to be an accountant at the place I work. So, not bad, but certainly my parents don't think I lived up to my potential. After dropping out of college in 2012, I'm finally finishing up my degree. I graduated early and wasn't ready for the college life at all. For Halloween I went as a former gifted child. When people asked me what I was supposed to be, I looked into the distance and said I was supposed to be so many things. I'm a nurse and actually heard a really familiar, distinct voice one day at work. I stopped right away because I knew it was my former gifted teacher even though we were in a different city from where I grew up. It was really nice to see them, although sad they had a family member in the hospital for so long. Made it through school on a debate scholarship. Met a girl. Got married. Had some kids. Got a job and worked my way up to management from the bottom. People around me put a lot of responsibility in me because I'm capable and get crap done. I'm now struggling with mental illness because of constant anxiety from the extreme pressure I'm under on a daily basis, and I cannot relax because of how I was raised. It's probably going to kill me eventually, but at least the people around me are getting to take it easy for now. Hey, don't think like that, okay? The people you love will be extremely upset if anything happens to you. Make sure to take regular breaks to do what you love. Please take care of yourself. Being gifted academically only gets you so far. If you lack some interpersonal, leadership, financial or entrepreneurial skills, you'll find you aren't going to be ahead for very long. If you learn every day, minimize risk, and take the chances, you'll be doing better than alright. I wish I had been born with more financial skills. Shoulder worked harder at receiving a large inheritance. Wasn't going to post, but almost all the top comments were really depressing, so I'll offer a different perspective. I grew up gifted with two siblings who were also gifted. Our parents, both academics, didn't send us to any kind of special advanced schools, and at age 9, 14 or so this really bothered me since my small town school was full of bullies and I stood out in the worst way. At various points in my childhood I was told you may be the big fish here, but once you go to college, uni etc, everyone else was top of their class too, and you'll have to work much harder than ever before just to keep up. So each time I made one of those transitions I was expecting to meet hundreds of kids like me, but always came to find that I was still in the top 3 or so. On the one hand, this was disappointing since I never quite fit in socially or academically, but on the other hand, I was such an arrogant little crap that I honestly don't know how I would have dealt with suddenly feeling average. I definitely went to uni with a few guys who had that experience and were bitter about it. All that just to say that maybe I was particularly fortunate and that may have shaped what happened next. Got my BSc in computer science, worked at several IT companies, was promoted to technical-led positions fairly quickly, currently working in a senior role, late 30s now, at a large enterprise, had a baby in 2018, bought a house in 2019, getting married in 2020, and I'm overall very happy with my life. My one sibling is 40, and contrary to me, she was always great with people. She got her degree in media studies, worked behind the scenes on radio and TV, then pivoted to PR. She's now director of communications, or is it PR, at a large enterprise. She has a 1-year-old and got married last year, definitely thriving. My oldest sibling is 43, also never struggled socially, being good at sports as well as academia. He got his degree in political science, married and had kids many years back, bought a house in the suburbs and has been living a very ordinary family life while working at the university. I'd say we've all turned out okay. Each of us has our own quirks of course, but no more than most I guess. Struggling in undergrad because I never learned healthy studying habits. Coasted through high school, crammed the night before exams but still made it to a nice uni. Turns out that gifted children often have learning disabilities too, and I'm currently in the process of being diagnosed with ADHD. Yeah, me too. Always made it through school by paying attention 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there because elementary to high school is easy, but that stopped working in uni. Now I've finished my bachelor, but with way lower grades than I could have gotten, and later than it should have been, and I'm terrified to start my new job without having this sorted. I'm a field engineer for a medical device company. No degree, no higher education, but somehow I managed to develop a skill set that landed me a $100K plus year job. I was in gifted student programs all through elementary school and junior high, advanced placement in high school, and I hated it. Every bit of it. I was forced into it by overbearing parents and butthole teachers who wouldn't let me just be a kid. He has so much potential. Just typing those words makes me want to puke. I was never allowed to be a normal kid. Plus, I struggled hard with math. I always failed the math part of testing for various engineering programs I had an interest in. Honestly, I think people believe I'm much smarter than I really am. I fix things. I put things together. I know my way around a toolbox. I have outstanding customer service skills. I have an incredibly technical mind. I love what I do. Now, I'm being groomed for management, and even though I am a proven leader and excellent mentor to junior engineers, their words, not mine, I have zero interest in managing people or moving up. I really enjoy being a worker bee and my customers love me. I excel at dang near everything I do, yet I have zero desire to climb the corporate ladder. If I don't follow their plan for me, I will eventually be pushed out because I'll be at the top of my pay scale. I think I have high functioning depression though. My job is the only thing about my life I love, and I'm being pressured to move away from the only thing in life that brings me true joy. Whatever. Graduated from an Ivy League school a couple of years ago. Graduated with a B average. Became a consultant, and broke 6 figures a year and a half into the job. So, things worked out well for me, but being at an Ivy League school makes you feel really average when competing with rich kids who went to private school and had tutors. The primary advantage I received from the GT program was SAT tutoring probably bumped my score from a 1600 to a 2300. That and the summer extracurricular courses. Those really help on your college applications. I'd like to think I'm still gifted, but during a geography B I completely forgot that Wisconsin was a state or that it even existed. Not my proudest moment. Suffering in college. I'm a high school sophomore because I never learned how to properly study because I knew everything back when it was easy. It's horrible. I have a really hard time staying focused when studying and I suck at writing papers. LOL. I got a degree and couldn't find a job above minimum wage. Then I got the dream industry internship and it actually paid worse and was so stressful I think I aged 10 years in 2. Now, I quit that job and I'm jobless but working on finishing that second, and hopefully higher paying, degree. Got my master's and am now a therapist. I have a pretty good life, but I'm always looking for more and I feel like I need to excel in everything. Same. I'm basically a stay-at-home mom to a pile of kids. I do own a business though. I just kind of manage it but the employees run it themselves. I pay myself enough money to pay rent. A lot of the employees, all female staff, are the breadwinners and some are single moms and things like that, so I would say it's pretty successful given how little time I spend actually working. My husband didn't really speak English through school but now he makes heaps of money at a big corporation. We're pretty successful and happy. I don't know if being in the gifted program meant anything though. If anything, it made me lazy and just kind of ride off the fact that people thought I was smart. That's using your gifts wisely. You saw that there was no point in keeping up with the rat race and instead found a way to do whatever brings you satisfaction without spending too much time on earning money. A lot of gifted kids don't end up in the top ranks of their profession. They realize that they can be happier kicking it back a notch, or more, and coasting, just like they did in school. I'm gifted in art with no job related to show for it. I'm just working at Starbucks and dealing with basic B trying to tell me how to do my job. B. I have the certified barista pin. I was trained for 60 hours. I've worked here for a little over 7 months. I know what I'm doing. I'm fighting to have my mental health issues be taken more seriously. Currently, it's surprisingly difficult for me to get a professional to hear out the whole story. It's a lot to unpack, and they never quite believe it was as I said. One thing is for certain, I'm getting real tired of being told not to self-diagnose by non-professionals, going to see professionals, and getting praise for how well I'm self-diagnosing. Do I or don't I? Keep shopping around for therapists. You got this. Working on my PhD, I actually just met up with some friends from the gifted program we met in 3rd grade last night for New Year's. It was pretty great and everyone is doing well. Sounds like people who had better gifted programs fare better due to socializing. Managing depression and anxiety while working and living in the home I purchased with the children I birthed, always striving for things to be better, prettier, cleaner. I'm actually doing well. I just finished my first semester in college with all A's. I know it's only going to get more difficult from here, but I still feel that pride of getting straight A's I lost in high school. I'm a Sam. My husband, who had an IEP all through school, supports the family. He has 10 times my work ethic and is worth more than 1,000 excellent test scores. I was gifted in art. Drawing and painting have always come very naturally to me. I decided to turn my talent for aesthetics into a profession. I just graduated and I'll be starting my first job soon as a contract designer for a tech firm. Fingers crossed it turns into full-time. I do kind of regret letting my gift become a pillar of my personality though. I wish I spent more time when I was younger exploring other hobbies instead of putting myself in the art kid box. I'm still young though, and I want to try other things outside of what I'm already good at. Unemployed, living with my parents, having no career goals, not a good student anymore so college sounds awful, broke and rely on others most of the time. Needless to say I'm doing great. 32. Went to university right after high school, left after a few semesters. I became an HVACR technician and it's mentally challenging. The work varies, and the pay is great. Major scholarship winner here for bassoon. I got pregnant and dropped out. Now I'm disabled from my lifelong autoimmune disease. I go to physical therapy and a crap ton of doctor's appointments and lab work, MRIs, you name it. Every week I'm booked. Life is pretty good, minus my joints all being bone on bone. Former twice exceptional child here. After graduating high school 8 years back, a mix of poor study habits and severe depression led me to drop out of college in 2016. Last year, I was hired as a USPS mail processing employee, and somehow, I'm happier than I ever expected doing something so simple. Had depression and anxiety and dropped out of college after a year. I constantly worried about disappointing my parents who have very high expectations of me. Now I'm in a good place mentally and working at an elementary school. I will hopefully be going back to school this fall after taking a year to focus on myself and letting my parents know that I want to do what's best for me. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.